To speak briefly on the amendments to the Voluntary Assisted Dying Amendment Bill 2025 made in the Legislative Council. It was always going to be the case with a bill such as this that compromises needed to be made through the way of amendments in order to gain the broader support necessary to ensure its passage. Whilst I personally believe some of the amendments made are not particularly necessary, they are ultimately relatively minor, and I'm happy to support them in the interest of ensuring that this bill is passed into law. The amendments to the gag clause, for instance, still leave the confusing situation where any of the members in this chamber can initiate a conversation with someone about voluntary assisted dying, but a podiatrist or a dentist, for example, who may have built up a long and trusted relationship with someone who has been diagnosed with a terminal illness cannot. Nevertheless, the amendments are an improvement to the gag clause as it is now, and I support them to ensure passage of this important bill. I sat through or read almost the entirety of the debate of this bill in this place, as well as the debate and committee stage in the other place. I want to thank the Minister for Health and her team for the work they did in developing and bringing this bill to the Parliament. I also want to thank the Minister for Mental Health as well in the other place for her tireless work taking the bill through the committee stage. My thanks also to Dr Sarah Mansfield and indeed members of this place, including members of the opposition and the crossbench, for their constructive and genuine engagement on this bill. As many members, both here and in the Council, have noted, the debate and consideration of this bill have brought out the best in many of us. It has been a debate that has seen members on all sides engage for the most part in a respectful and considerate manner. It has been an example of how we should always strive to behave and conduct ourselves as elected members, working constructively and respectively with one another to craft legislation for the overall betterment of our state. It is unfortunate, though, that this was somewhat tarnished by the language used by some members both here and in the other place during this bill. Whilst I appreciate that this is an issue on which some, not just here in the Parliament but in the broader community, have differing views, it was, I believe, unhelpful, distasteful and unnecessary to refer to voluntary assisted dying as assisted suicide. The decision to access voluntary assisted dying is one never taken lightly. For those who do make the decision to access it, they often find themselves racked with guilt for the families that they will leave behind, fearful that others may perceive them as selfish for their decision. It is a very difficult decision to make, and one that an individual comes to only after a period of serious consideration. I am not ashamed to admit that hearing this sort of language used by my colleagues brought me to tears. I cried for me, but I also cried for others who have been through this difficult journey and those who have lost loved ones to suicide. I felt it necessary to call this out, and I hope to encourage them to further reflect and consider that words we use in this place really do matter. Not everyone has the same views, and I absolutely respect that, but we are here for all Victorians, and empathy goes a long way. I commend the amendments to the House.